Chappell Roan destroyed her image in 48 hours. Chappell Roan is a artist. She makes pretty good music, you know what I'm saying? I don't really listen to her music like that for real, but my girlfriend listens to her music, and that's kind of like why I even know her name or know who she is, period. However, I recently just saw a video, you know, it kind of exposing Chappell Roan on TikTok or Instagram or one of these places, and they kind of explained that she makes it seem like she had some type of normal childhood. However, she was rich as a. And she talks about how she met a lot of her industry friends during summer camp. Meanwhile, it was a Grammys summer camp, and it costs like $3,000 a week or some crazy number like that. So it seems like she's the type of person to try to hide all this information and act like she's not some type of industry plant, or she didn't have the funds to push herself into the stardom that she's in right now. Doesn't take away from her music. If the music's good, the music's good. It is what it is. But as always, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I thank you guys for all the love and support, for real. Now let's get into the video.
Chappell Roan apparently destroyed her reputation in Brazil within 48 hours of performing at a festival, turning the whole crowd of Come to Brazil fans into Don't Come to Brazil Ever Again. I don't even know how that's possible, but today, I guess we'll find out, because it's safe to say the deeper you look into the story, the more odd the whole picture just gets. Lollapalooza Brazil 2026 ran from March 20th to 22nd at the Interlagos circuit at Sao Paulo, and had TV Globo, arguably, I guess, one of the more important TV networks in Brazil, as its official media and broadcasting partner. This year's edition featured one of the strongest lineups the festival's had, including headliners like Sabrina Carpenter, Tyler the Creator, Skrillex, Lorde, and Chappell Roan. And for Roan, the Sao Paulo date was the final stop of her most recent tour that started in Warsaw, Poland in 2025. That might be relevant because clearly from everything that happened, she's tired. Her last performance was on March 15th in Santiago, and after that she was headed to the Tangara Palace for her stay before performing on the Saturday, the 21st, for her final night of her tour. And it was the morning of March 21st that I guess the entire story started, because that's when official TV Globo account asked Twitter, "I wonder what Chappell Roan had for breakfast today." And I guess that was the first domino that fell for this entire story, because also in town for the weekend, staying at the Tangara Palace, which by the way, I guess is just a really high-end hotel there was a woman and her 11-year-old daughter who was a fan of the singer Chappell Roan. She'd woken up early that morning, buzzing with excitement. She made a handmade sign and she was counting down to the show that evening, which was, I guess, her birthday gift from her parents. And they were also having breakfast at the hotel when someone with long curly red hair passed by through the restaurant. And the mother apparently turned to the girl, whose name is Ada, and asked, "Hey, do you think that was Chappell Roan?" Ada obviously was extremely excited from this because, you know, she's here to see her idol. So I guess she got up and she walked over just to check if this was Chappell or not. She then confirmed it was her, I guess smiled at the singer, and then walked back and sat down at her table. And reportedly, there was no phone out, no photo attempts, nor did she even say anything to the artist. So the kid essentially just glanced over to confirm that she was looking at the right person. However, moments later, a large security guard walked over to their table while they were still eating, and according to the family, proceeded to go off on them, accusing Ada of disrespecting and harassing the artist and threatening to file a formal complaint against them with the hotel. What? That just doesn't make sense. But the girl, as you would expect, ended up in tears. Now, what nobody at that restaurant could have anticipated is the person who was about to call this all out on the internet, because that was her stepfather, Giorgino Frello, who's apparently a 34-year-old Italian-Brazilian Champions League winner. He's a former Chelsea player, a former Arsenal player, and now he's back in Brazil with Flamengo. His wife, aka Ada's mother, is...
Damn, she done fucked the wrong one. You know what I'm saying? Violated the wrong one. Because in Brazil, bro, soccer, that shit different. Brazil, all of these Spanish-speaking countries, when it comes to soccer, these niggas hold it down. Feel me? I would not want to fuck with none of them. So, hey.
Catherine Harding, a British singer and model and content creator who goes by Kat Cavelli online. And Ada is Catherine's daughter from a previous relationship, and that previous relationship would be actor Jude Law. So the 11-year-old sitting in tears.
Who's Jude Law? Jude Law, actor. Oh, okay. Yeah, I recognize this dude. For sure. Sheesh. Damn, she got herself in some mess. Boy, you should have said, come over here, let me take a picture. Hey there, boy, you might have fucked your shit off. Okay, type shit.
Here's at a hotel breakfast is Ada Law. And a few hours after breakfast, Georgino published a long statement on Instagram in both Portuguese and English, where he walked through all of it. He tagged Chappell directly and ended the post in all caps, telling her that without her fans, she would be nothing, and telling those fans that she didn't deserve the affection. Now, to understand what happened next, you kind of need to understand something about Flamingo, the team Ada's stepfather currently plays for, because after some research and while studying the topic, I think it's safe to say that these guys are not just a football club. Unlike American football clubs, the organized supporter groups at Brazilian football groups, they're very passionate people. And when one of their star players calls someone out, they're going to bat for them. So it somehow seems like all of Brazil came out against Chappell Roan for a moment on the internet. It's safe to say that Brazilian Twitter was fully locked in on being a hate mob for Chappell Roan. Even the official TV Globo returned to the tweet they made that morning and was like, yeah, oops,
Shit.
that aged well. But by the time Chappell was due on stage that evening, the story had already left Brazil. But either way, none of that was enough to change anything about the night's schedule. It was quite the opposite, actually, because despite all of the noise on social media, in real life, the crowd that showed up to enjoy the festival even started a
Yeah, it's probably like teenage girls. Like, I'm sure they don't give a fuck about soccer. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. So, yeah, they're still gonna fucking come to the show. They don't give no shits. You know what I'm saying? Type shit.
Flamingo chant. And at least there, in person, no one really stopped supporting the artist. I feel like that would actually be kind of funny here is if she didn't check Twitter or the internet that day because, you know, she was busy warming up for her show and getting ready for the final night of her tour. So she shows up on stage and the whole crowd's just chanting F at Flamingo. And she's just like, what's going on here? That would kind of be funny because it's definitely possible she had no idea this was going on until after her show. But regardless, Chappell Roan performed her headline set at Lola. She closed out her tour in front of a huge crowd at Interlagos. And by all accounts, the performance itself was exactly what it was supposed to be. But at one point, at the end of her set, she decided to thank her security team on stage. To be precise, actually, she gave a general warm send-off to everyone who had worked with her throughout the run. She told the crowd that she didn't know when she was going to be going on tour again, and that was her last show for now, and that she was grateful for everyone behind the scenes, her crew, her band, everyone who made it possible, including her security. But of course, the timing of her thanking her security team on that day, hours after all of this broke,
Honestly, she probably really had absolutely no clue that all this was going on. You know what I'm saying? Most famous people, for the most part, they don't like seeing information about themselves. You know, it kind of stresses them out. So I can understand her probably having no clue any of this is going on. You know, I'm sure thousands of people at her a day, post about her a day. So, you know, she probably had no clue. But thanking her security team, if she knew what happened, that would be kind of stupid, honestly.
obviously triggered the internet. So that in itself became a massive talking point as well. So people started asking, hey, was this intentional? Was this just tone deaf? Or was it just an unfortunate coincidence? I don't know. But what we do know is that the meme response to all this was genuinely kind of hilarious. Here's a clip from an unrelated incident where Chappell was caught on camera apparently noticing paparazzi and distancing and gesturing out of security to sick him. That resurfaced, and apparently people were saying, oh, there's a pattern here. And just like that, the timeline was already in motion. I mean, Twitter started making a whole bunch.
This is kind of crazy as fuck. Like, people should have their you know, their privacy. However, if you're in fucking public, like, I can go out in public and just fucking film anywhere. You're trying to tell me you're fucking sicking your security guards on a motherfucker, especially from fucking 50 feet away? The fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I hope that person kept recording and be like, nigga, fuck you. I don't get no fucks. Hit me. Hit me. I dare you hit me, nigga. You know what I'm saying? He probably get a raise if you hit his ass. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. And then as soon as that nigga hit me, sue the fuck out of that boy. But yeah, I wouldn't say that that's a huge judgment of her character. You know what I'm saying? This moment right here, though. But hey.
And just like that, the timeline was already in motion. I mean, Twitter started making a whole bunch of comparisons, linking situations after situations, saying, look how she's treating people. So the same crowd that had spent years saying, come to Brazil to every celebrity who'd ever existed online, made a very swift and very public pivot to do not come to Brazil, all within roughly 48 hours. And this is like the online zeitgeist, because at least at the show, it seemed like the fans were very engaged with Chappell. So it is hard to say, but the internet, especially the Brazilian internet community, is not happy with her. Because here's, I guess, where the story stops being just like celebrity drama and starts becoming something surreal. Because late on March 21st, the same day as the hotel incident, a few hours before her show, the mayor of Rio de Janeiro posted on his Twitter account announcing that Chappell Roan was permanently banned from performing at everywhere in Rio while he was in charge because of what happened, I guess. And that Shakira would never mistreat a fan like Chappell Roan allegedly did. So I guess even the mayor's getting involved now. So I guess for context, Everyone in Rio is Rio de Janeiro's ongoing series of massive free concerts on Copacabana Beach, which has quickly become one of the biggest live music festivals in the world. Madonna headlined the first edition in May 2024 in front of 1.6 million people. And then Lady Gaga followed in May 2025 with an estimated crowd of 2.5 million people. And now Shakira is up next in May of 2026. However,
damn, free shows? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how they're living in Rio. Wait, did he say Rio? Rio. Yeah, I think it's just in Rio. I don't know how they living in Rio, but hey, paying Shakira fucking 100 bands to perform, I don't know. But I feel like the US don't really do shit like this. Like they're like, I'm not sure, cause it's a free festival. I don't see there being a lot of free festivals. You know what I'm saying, in the US. Because what's the point? What's the background behind it? But the US wouldn't do that shit because it's very money based. I'm sure in Rio they're like, yo, we just want to do something for our people and let everyone come and have fun and be happy and type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Is up next in May of 2026. However, the mayor wrote, as long as he's running the city, Chappell Roan would have no place on that stage. And then he also added that Ada was already a guest of honor for the Shakira show in May, which Georgino responded with 2 heart emojis. So, interesting political play. But I guess here's the thing. The part that makes this even more unhinged is that the mayor's name is Eduardo Cavalier. And March 21st, 2026 was his first day in office. That was essentially the first thing that he did in office was ban Chappell Roan from performing in his city at this concert. But apparently the guy who was there before him, Eduardo Paes, had stepped down midterm to run for governor of Rio de Janeiro state. And under Brazilian law, a sitting mayor cannot run in state elections. So they typically just resign and go on with their campaign and let someone else take over. So Cavalier, who I guess has been serving as vice mayor, stepped into the role when Paes stepped down. So what makes this so funny is a large portion of Brazil found out about the new mayor through the Chappell Roan announcement. And again, his first move was to ban an American pop singer from performing at like a free festival, essentially. And my understanding is he has that power because my understanding is this festival is paid for by taxpayers. So therefore it's a free festival. So yeah, I guess you would have that power. But the next day, Chappell posted a video to her Instagram story where she finally addressed the whole thing. And she was composed and straightforward. She said that she never...
This shit's kind of crazy. Like, the US really a different fucking breed. Like, in Rio, they're fucking having shows on the fucking beach for the people that live there. And the US, they tell you to kiss ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, there ain't shit going on like that. That's just fucked up. And fuck this shit. We should be out to Brazil. What the fuck we doing here, bro? You know what I'm saying?
saw a woman and child and nobody actually came up to her, and that she never instructed anyone to approach the family, and that she'd also had nothing to do with the security guard going over to the table because he wasn't even a part of her personal team.
I'm just going to tell my half of the story of what happened today with a mother and child who were involved with a security guard who is not my personal security. I did not ask the security guard to go up and talk to this mother and child. They did not come up to me. They weren't doing anything. It's unfair for security to just assume someone doesn't have good intentions when they have no reason to believe because there's no action even taken. Like, I do not hate people who are fans of my music. I do not hate children.
However, Catherine's version of events, posted right after Chappell's response, matched her husband's almost exactly. Ada had no phone, made no approach, and said nothing to anyone. And she also made a point of clarifying that the security guard in question was certainly not hotel staff. He was someone connected to the artists.
Chappell has responded saying it wasn't her security and that she didn't do it. So 100% this security guard was not a security guard of the hotel. That's what I can say. He looks after artists. So I don't know if it was her personal security guard, but he was with her. So that is all I know. Did she send him to do it? Again, I don't know. Look, I would like to hope not, but at the same time, I think that you have a responsibility when you are a celebrity to make sure, I guess, that the people that work for you and that act on your behalf are acting on your behalf.
So I guess the core disagreement here isn't really about what Ada did. Everyone seems to be on the same page here. The question is who that security guard was and whether he acted on his own instructions or if he was directed to do so by his boss. Who knows? Well, the Brazilian press even tried to contact the hotel and question the following Monday because, you know, this is now a very big thing there now. But the hotel's press office stated that it does not comment on the matters involving the guests, adding that Giorgino and his wife's statements make it clear that the hotel was not involved in the situation with the singer. So, I mean, you know, that's a little vague, but it seems like the place is backing up the family's account that the security guard was not a part of the hotel's team. So... okay. But I feel like one of the reasons this whole story went so viral isn't just because of like who the kid was, there being a kid involved, and, you know, who the parents were. No, apparently there's been a reputation that's been building around Chappell Roan for a while. So she's been one of the most outspoken artists in recent memory when it comes to setting boundaries around public interactions. And those statements and confrontations with paparazzi become a go-to example in a lot of people's arguments once the hotel story broke out. And a lot of people found this perspective reasonable, and still do. The conversations she started around celebrity boundaries and parasocial relationships were genuinely important ones. But I guess that history also meant that when a story surfaced around an 11-year-old girl being brought to tears at a breakfast table, a significant portion of the internet already had an established backstory ready to attach to it. So who knows if it was fair or not? I don't know. The thing is, like, if you are a touring artist, you are signing up to have fan interactions. That's just the reality of the job. Now, obviously, there are so many examples that are just awful between fans and celebrities. But regardless, I can't see why anyone would ever be bothered from an 11-year-old fan walking up and smiling towards you. Yeah. Either way, though, whatever Chappell Roan ordered that morning at the Tongara Palace, it's safe to say that she ended up with a whole lot more than she expected. But other than that...
This one's kind of odd. Like I said, I don't really know too much about Chappell Roan, but I did see that information earlier. He didn't bring it up at all, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of odd for you to be so mad about, let's say, you know, paparazzi, things of that nature, when you're like a fucking Nepo baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, why even become a singer at that point? If you don't want to deal with the paparazzi, you don't want to deal with fans, you don't want to deal with all these things, there is no reason to fucking become a celebrity and now have to deal with that shit when you could just be a Nepo baby and be rich as fuck and live the rest of your life and fucking in happiness. You know what I'm saying? But it's what comes with the job. So you decided, because if it's not about the money, you know what I'm saying? It's about just expressing yourself through music, maybe performing. But that is the negative side that comes with fame. And most people that want fame, get fame, and go through it, they actually like having, fans and paparazzi at first. Over time it starts to get annoying. It could always start to get annoying. But most people, understand that that's a negative part of what's going to come with getting money, fame, popularity, so on and so forth. But if you already have money, I guess the incentives are kind of like not as great. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I don't fucking know. Y'all let me know what you guys think, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if nobody told you today, I love you. Peace.